A very warm morning to all of you. I hope all of you are doing fine. So, let's begin our 14th video lesson of Class 9 Life Sciences. Okay, students, all of you guys are interested? So, let's begin our today's class. Okay, students? So, students, here is a picture that I have brought for you. So, what can you observe in this picture? Yes, students? Right. You can see a plant, isn't it? You can see a plant. So today we are going to study about kingdom planting. Okay, students, we are going to study about kingdom planting. Right. So students, now just see this picture. What you can see in this picture, students? I'm giving you 10 seconds. Just observe this picture very carefully. Then we will describe. Okay, students? Right. So your 10 seconds starts now. Yes, your 10 seconds is ended. So now let's see what you can observe in this picture. So students, first of all, we can see there is presence of root, there is presence of stem, there is presence of fruit, the leaves are present, the flower is present. Okay, so whenever we imagine any plant, we imagine the plant in this way only, isn't it? The plant is having root, shoot, stems, leaf, flower, fruit, isn't it? So when I tell you about plant, so this is the general characteristics or the general idea that comes to your mind. But students, what is there? The group of the plant or the kingdom of the plant is much more diverse than being classified in just these things, right? There are plants that do not have roots. There are plants that do not have stems, do not have fruits, do not have flowers, right? So there, these type of plants are also there. Okay, students. So now let's see a type of what are the general characteristics of the kingdom plantae. Okay, students. So the kingdom plantae, these are multicellular eukaryotes with the cell wall. Okay, students. What is the characteristics? These are first of all multicellular, right? These are having more than one cell. These are eukaryotes. Okay, these are eukaryotes, and these the cell wall is present in the cell. Okay, students, whenever you have drawn a animal cell, you have drawn it like this, isn't it, without the cell wall. But whenever you have drawn a plant cell, you have made it like this, right? First of all, you have made the cell wall, then you have made the cytoplasm, or we can say you have made the plasma membrane within which the cytoplasm is present. So the kingdom plantae members are multicellular eukaryotes and with cell wall. Okay, students? Right. So they are autotrophs. The plants are autotrophs and use chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Okay, students? So the members of the kingdom plantae are autotrophs and they use chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Okay, students? So all the groups of plants, right? So be it any plant, it is included in the kingdom of plantae. Okay, students, right? So now let's move ahead. So the first level of classification of the kingdom plantae is dependent upon whether the plant body has well differentiated and distinct part. Okay. So in the first level of classification, when we will be classifying the kingdom plantae in more subgroups, then when we look at the first level, then it is based upon that whether the plant body has well differentiated and distinct parts, right? So this forms the first level of classification. Understood, students? So the next level of classification is based upon whether the differentiated plant body has special tissues for transport of water or other substances, right? So in the next level of classification, we see that the plant body has, whether or not differentiated plant body has special tissues for transport of other substances and water, right? So the first level comes what? First level is the whether the plant body has differentiated and distinct parts, whether yes or no, And in the next level, what we see that whether or not the differentiated plant body has special tissue for the transport of water and other substances. Okay, so if when we will look at the further classification, what we will look at the ability to bear seeds and whether the seeds are enclosed within the fruits, right? So first level is what? First level is that, to put it very simply, the first level is that whether or not the plants have a well differentiated or a distinct parts. Right, students? Now, in the second level, what we will see? We will see whether or not the differentiated plant body has specialized tissues for what? Whether or not the specialized plant tissues have special tissues for transport of water and other substances. Okay, students. Now, when we look at the further classification, we will see that whether or not the kingdom, whether or not the plants has the ability to bear seeds and whether the seeds are enclosed within the fruits. Okay, students. So this will be the classification, a basis upon which the kingdom plantae will be classified. Okay, students. So now let's go to the quiz section. So here you need to state whether the following statements are true or whether these statements are false. Okay, students. So the first question is, plantae is a unique and a separate kingdom. Plantae is a unique and a separate kingdom. So this statement is true or is this statement false? What do you say, students? Yes. So this statement is a true statement that plantae is a unique and a separate kingdom. Okay, students? Right. So now there is one more question. So you need to tell whether presence or absence of seed is one of the classification characteristics of plantae. So can we say that plants can be classified on the basis of presence or the absence of the seed? Yes. So this is also the true statement. We saw that there are three levels of classification in the plant. So the first level of classification is based upon the body structure or the differentiation. The second one is that whether or not the differentiated plant body has vascular system or the vascular tissues for conduction of water and other substances. And the third one is that whether or not the plant has ability to bear seeds and bear seeds inside the fruits. Okay, students. So presence or absence of seed is one of the characteristics of classification in the plantae. Okay, students. So now let's move ahead. So students, let me tell you the both the pictures shown here is of plantae only, right? These both the pictures that are shown means this picture and this picture, whatever is shown in these two pictures, the members belong to the kingdom plantae. But students, can you find some differences in between this group of this plant and these plants? Yes, students, can you find some difference? Yes. Okay, so here the root stems and leaves are present, but here the you cannot make out like where is root, where is stem, where is leaf presented. Okay, very good. You can see these examples also. So there is Ulothrix, Cladophora, Uvula. Here you can see cell wall is there, chloroplast is there, palinoid body is there, nucleus is there, cytoplasm is there. Yes, students. You can see another plant here also. It is known as Chara also. So what can by looking at these pictures, can you find some characteristics of this group? Yes, students. Right. Now let's see. So the phylum Thallophyta, the plant that do not have, see here, the point is that the plants that do not have well differentiated body design fall in this group. Okay. So the plant that do not have well differentiated body design, they fall in this group and this group is called as the Thallophyta. Okay. So plant in these groups are commonly called as what? The plants in these groups are commonly called as algae. Okay, these are called as algae, and this includes organisms such as Spirogyra, Ulithrix, and Cladophora. Okay, students. It also includes vulva and chara. Okay, students. So when we look at the characteristics of phylum Thallophyta, we see that the plant body is not differentiated. Okay, there is no root, there is no stem, there is no leaves. Okay, there is no differentiation in the plant body. So this type of plants where there is no differentiation, what we call them as belonging to the phylum Thallophyta. Okay. Generally, the thallophytes or the members of the group Thallophyta or the phylum Thallophyta, generally we call them what? We can commonly call them as algae. Okay. And the members included here are Spirogyra, Ulthroix, Cladophora, Alba, and Chara. Okay, students. So you might have seen that near the water bodies the algae is formed, isn't it? The green colored substances are formed, little tiny plants are formed. You might have seen that. Suppose this is a water body, then there are green stuffs found. So that is, we can say that the phylum Thallophyta or the alga are generally found, are predominantly aquatic, isn't it? So these are aquatic plants, right? So now let's move ahead. So there is a quiz for you students. So you need to tell me that which of the following is an example of Thallophyta. Okay students, which of the following is an example of Thallophyta? First option is Spirogyra, second option is Ulthroix, third option is Cladophora, fourth option is Alba and Chara, and fifth option is all of the above. So take 10 seconds, think about this question very deeply, and then answer this question. Okay, students? Right. Your 10 seconds starts now. Right. So, as we have seen in our previous slide also, that the thallophytes are the organisms, are the plants that do not have a differentiated body, and it has organisms such as Spirogyra, Ulithroix, Cladophora, and Alba and Chara. So, all of the above is the correct option, right? So, the answer will be all of the above, right? So, question number two, or the second question here is, thallophytes are also called as what? Thallophytes are also called as what, students? Right. So, thallophytes are also called as algae. Right, students? Okay. So, now let's proceed ahead. Students, now just this picture, compare this picture with this picture. What do you see in this picture, students? Can you find some type of difference in this picture? Okay, right. So now let's see what are the characteristics of this one. Okay, we have already seen that Ulva, Chara, Cladophora, this belongs to the phylum of what? This belongs to phylum Thallophyta, right? These are thallophytes, means that they don't have any sort of differentiated bodies, right? So now we will look at this picture, right? See here. This phylum is called as the Bryophyta. Okay, students, this phylum is called Bryophyta, and these are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Okay, students, these are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why these are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom, students? I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that, no problem. So, but let's see here. The plant body here is commonly differentiated to form stem and leaf-like structures. Okay, these are not stem and leaf, but these are differentiated to form stem and the leaf type of structures. Right. However, there is no specialized tissue for conduction of water. Right. So there is no specialized tissue for the conduction of water in the case of bryophyta, right? So the first characteristics of what bryophyta is what? It is known as the amphibian of the plant kingdom. Second characteristics, The plant body is differentiated into stem and leaf-like structure. Third characteristics, it does not have any specialized tissue for the conduction of water and other substances from the part of the body to another. Okay, students? So now let's look some more features of the phylum Bryophyta. Okay, students? See here, I told you that the bryophytes are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. And why we call them the amphibian of the plant kingdom, students? Can you think about any answer? Okay, let me ask you why frog is called an amphibian. Why frog is called an amphibian, students? Yes, because they can also live on land, but for their reproduction, they need to go to the water bodies, right? So same is the case with the bryophytes also, that although these plants can live on the soil, but are dependent on water for their sexual reproduction. Okay, students? Now, what are some of the examples that belong to the phylum Bryophyta? Yes, so this includes organisms such as Rixia, Markantia, and Funaria. Okay, students, let me write it here. These are Rixia, Rixia, Markantia, and one more is there. Its name is Funaria. Right. So these are the group of these are the examples of the phylum Bryophyta. Okay, students. So let's quickly see what we have studied in about the phylum Bryophyta. First of all, the first characteristic is that these are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Second characteristic is that although the body is differentiated into root and yeah, leaf and stem type of structures, right? But they don't have any type of specialized conduction tissues to conduct water or food from one part of the body to the different part of the body. Okay, students? And why we call the members of the phylum Bryophytes as amphibians of the plant kingdom, students? We call them amphibians because they can live on soil, but they are dependent on water for their sexual reproduction. And what are the examples of the phylum Bryophyta, students? These are Rixia, Margantia, and Funaria. Okay, students? So now let's move. Now there is a quiz for you, students. So you need to tell me that Bryophytes is dash division of kingdom Plantae. Okay, Bryophytes is dash division of kingdom Plantae. First option is first, second, third, or fourth. Yes. Okay, right. The answer is second. And what is the first? The first are the what? First division is Thallophyta. Okay, students? Right. So the second question is bryophytes are called as dash of the plant kingdom. Okay, the bryophytes are called as dash of the plant kingdom. What should we fill in this dash? Yes, students? Right. We will fill amphibia, isn't it? Bryophytes are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Okay, students? So now let's proceed ahead. So students, in our today's class, we have learned about kingdom Plantae. We have learned about thallophytes and bryophytes. So now let's quickly answer some questions, right? So how can we define plant kingdom? Yes, students, kingdom Plantae. Right. We can define the kingdom Plantae by having those organisms that can produce their own food, first of all. Right. They will have what? They will have some sort of cellular organization. Right, students? They might or might not be differentiated. So these are some characteristics of the kingdom Plantae, right? So can you list any two members of the group Plantae, students? Right. So we can say that bryophytes and thallophytes are any two member of the kingdom Plantae. So how can you describe thallophytes, students? Right. We can describe thallophytes as what? We can describe thallophytes as the member of the plant kingdom that does not have a differentiated body, right? Their body is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. Okay, students? Right. So explain why the bryophytes are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. The bryophytes are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom, students, because although they can live on the soil, but whenever they will have to go for a sexual reproduction, they will need water to complete their sexual reproduction process. Okay, students? So that's why they are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Okay, students? Right. So now let's proceed ahead. Now, students, we have reached the homework section, and in this sector, in your homework, what you need to do, you need to draw a diagram of market share area and watch the following video and make a report on it. Okay. So that was all for today. Have a nice day, students. Thank you all for joining this class. I'm ending this class now.